Horton, 1-0.
Paris is in behind the Norwegian defence. Paris, 2-0. Beth Mead pulls it back. Bruns! There it is, 3-0.
Before we wrap up, some really good news for the three of us. So pleased. A study says that women aged 55 to 75 would hugely benefit.
I heard this.
Hang on. In later life, would hugely benefit from playing football regularly.
I was in Canada for the World Cup with Kate in 2015, and that felt different. That felt like, wow, you know, suddenly no one, a man and his dog, was watching women's football, and like people were interested. We'd got ITV ringing us up when they got to the semi-finals, and I think that was the tournament that announced their arrival. I think the viewing figures and the crossover to just generally men, women, children all enjoying it happened this time. You've got so many leagues now where they are paying women to play football full time. And as a result of that, the standards, of course, go up another level. So for those people who used to maybe see ridiculous score lines and really bad goalkeeping and not maybe seeing as much skill, they tuned in and they saw excellent skill, really talented players, and I think it shocked a lot of people.
England's match against Scotland reached an average audience of 4.6 million viewers across the UK. This then rose to 7.6 million viewers when England took on Norway in the quarter-finals, and rose further to 11.7 million viewers when England were knocked out in the semi-final against the USA. Someone who understands the challenge female footballers face is the official biographer of the Dick Kerr ladies team, Gail Newsham. The team was formed in a munitions factory in Preston during the First World War and went on to become one of the most successful teams in history.
After the FA ban in 1921, lots of teams fell by the wayside and folded, but the Dick Kerr ladies carried on playing. No matter what the establishment threw at them, how much adversity there was, they carried on playing right through till 1965. And that's one of the things that makes them special. The Goodison match, when 53,000 people came to watch them on Boxing Day 1920, I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, they were between 10 and 14,000 locked out, so you've got a potential gate there of 67,000 if Goodison could have accommodated them all. We do need to learn from the past. I keep saying, you know, unless you realise where you come from, how are you going to know where you're going? So we need to embrace this history. You know, the ban was, to me, was the biggest sporting injustice of the last century, and generations of people have been brought up now to believe that women shouldn't be playing football, and we do still have that element in society. You know, people think that. So we need to re-educate them and tell them this history, just how great these women were, what huge crowds they were attracting, and then tell them about the ban, and then they realise, well, maybe that wasn't fair, were it?
The hype around the Women's World Cup was the most I've ever seen. The interest from media was significant. If you went into the media tribunes before, during and after games, there were hundreds of journalists at some games, you know, especially as we went into the latter stages of the tournament. I'm the first to admit that some of the crowds, especially in the south of France, were a little bit disappointing. The England-Scotland game in particular was not great. But if you went to, you know, the games in Paris, for example, France against USA was absolutely rocking. It was an unbelievable atmosphere. The French put on a good World Cup, but they could have done more, I think, to promote it. It was very little marketing around the cities, but no doubt this was an incredible World Cup, and I think generated a lot of interest.